Well, Season 2 of Time to Real gets underway. We're in the Segundo Group B, Division 4, or Segundo B Group 4. It's got the same rules as the last division we were in, which kind of played hell with the transfer window, and then just a little bit of a mix-up between me and my coaches on scheduling friendlies. That was a bit frustrating, but we are underway, and it's going to be a good season. My name's FM20, and it's time to get real. I'm still working on the intro. I'm going to figure it out sooner or later. Actually, let me do this. Oh, well, let me resize that then again real quick. There we go. My forehead's big enough. You don't need to see the glare off of it. We'll start on the transfers. We have played 2 games in our new division so far, and they went about as well as expected. But we did have a really busy transfer season, and a lot of that has to do with the registration rules. Actually, I suppose I could have started there. Let's go there real quick. So the rules here are the same as, at least player-wise, are the same as they were in the last division. There's a couple additional modifiers. I believe I've gone over this before, but if I haven't, your maximum team size is 22 players. Of those 22 players, 16 can be over 23, which means when you bring in a ton of players on trial, like I did, and some of them are really good, which they were, you may not be able to sign them because you've already exceeded the total number of maximum players that you can have over 16, which I did. So, but on the other hand, it means you can also go out and find some really good youth players to add to your squad as well. Didn't pay any money for transfers this time around. Everybody we picked up was on a free. But the other thing that's a little bit interesting here is that there's specific registration times. And then players who pick up a long-term injury at least 150 days out can be replaced in the squad, so you can swap them out one for one. Players signing a tree transfer can be registered anytime as long as you have the slot open. And I don't. So, let's go back to the transfers here. On the outs, Juanma Espinoza and Eugenio Vilches both retired. Benjamin Rincon, my sulky teenager who got mad that I didn't loan him out, and then I loaned him out, and he had a really good loan season, decided not to re-sign with us. Ramon Monti, Alberto Jerez, Jorge Vela, Victor Armero, Francisco Vela, Diego Lolo, Salva Cambio, Suleiman Mohamed Alonso, and Carlos Jose Garcia, and Mikel Palacios. Half those names I don't even recognize, and they were on my team last year. I think they're on my under-19 squads. We're all released. Free transfers in. First, Paul Ballesteros. 23 years old, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, advanced midfielder on the right, also plays striker, which is very, very good. I really went back and forth on re-signing Javalilo, and as you can see, Javalilo is still here because he's 30 years old, and the club didn't want me to sign anybody over 30 years old, but he was already an established player here. He was one of our better players last season. The only thing I don't like about Paul Ballesteros at this level of football is his strength, a 1. It's really, really bad. You know, he's 5'7", 136 pounds, and a stiff wind's going to blow him over. Other than that, he's a very solid player. The other thing that happened, and I know I talked about this last episode, our payroll went up. Let me go back to that real quick. Our payroll went up to $45,150. We do have a transfer budget, but I just recently put that back. If I take that transfer budget, put it back all the way down, our payroll jumps up to like $47,000. The fact we're spending $37,000 means we're doing okay. And actually, a couple of the players I let go were actually older players who wanted a ton of money that I just didn't think they were worth. So, but anyways, back to Paul Ballesteros. Okay physically, decent mentally, good technically where it matters. 14 crossing, 14 dribbling, nice first touch, passing's great, technique's great for this level of football. I think he is going to be a very good addition to the squad. Next in, Jorge Carrion. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Another backup midfielder on the right, but I also picked him up because he plays advanced midfielder in the center and a midfielder as well. Again, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. Another one of those solid players who is going to come in and spell Javalilo and get some starts. He is a Bolivian international. He's actually on their international squad right now. So, and I did not know that when I picked him up. He's got 13 caps for the Bolivian squad, so He's doing okay there. The physicals, the balance is a bit concerning, and I don't know that there's going to be much I can do to improve that. The mentals are nice. They're solid across the board. The technicals, they're pretty good where they count. The 9 crossing is okay, but I do like the 14 dribbling, 14 first touch, 13 passing, 14 technique is also great for this level of football. He's a very good advanced midfielder in the center, and he's a capable advanced midfielder, or a capable midfielder as well. So I can have him on the bench, and push comes to shove, he can come in and play 3 different positions if I need him to, which is great. Then we have Christian Marquez from Calahorra. 27 years old, defender on the right, 3.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. I needed some backup here. I needed some solid backup. The fact that he can play defensive center back, and if I need him in a pinch, play defensive left back is interesting. This advanced midfielder and striker, I did not notice when I got him in. It says makeshift, which means, yeah, it's a position of last resort for him. Frankly, if I'm playing him up there, it means something has gone horribly, horribly wrong. Solid physically, solid mentally. I love the 16 determination. The positioning, the teamwork, the vision, the work rate. Honestly, anything at this level above a 10 is good in my opinion. Technically, again, solid as well. 10 crossing, 10 first touch, 10 free kick taking, 11 marking, 11 or 12 tackling, 11 technique. One of those solid players you never really have to worry about. You know, he's not going to make a lot of mistakes, I would think, but he's not going to do anything outstanding either. He'll have moments of brilliance, which frankly is all I'm expecting. Now, Mohamed Mizian, who was the lone striker we brought in last year, was let go on a free, and I picked him up. 475 pounds a week, a breakthrough prospect contract. 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. He's got some potential, especially if we're stuck in this division for a year or two, which I think is going to be a possibility considering the quality of teams we're playing here and what you have to do to get promoted out. Actually, you know what? We're going to go back to that real quick because it's just insane. There's a promotion playoff. And I believe if I go back and look at last year, Cordoba was the champions because they won. Cartagena got promoted because they won the promotion playoff. And Cordoba, who won the division last year, is still here. So you have to finish top 4, and then you go to a best of playoff. So even the goal this season is to survive, and we'll go over that in just a minute. But going forward, if you finish top 4, that's no guarantee you're going to get promoted. So, Cordoba is going to be hopping mad at the fact that they didn't get out. Anyhow, Mohamed Mizian plays a really good poacher, a decent advanced forward. Physicals, they're okay. They'll improve. He's 20 years old. He will get better. Mentally, not the best aggression, not the best bravery, not the best positioning, but we can work on some of those, I believe. Technically, I like him. The 14 finishing is nice. The 13 first touch, 12 heading, 8 technique is good. He's not the best jumper, though. I took a flyer on him. He did a capable job for us last year when I brought him in on loan, and frankly, I needed a third striker up top. I got a couple other players who were swapping out, and, at 475 euros a week, it's not a huge risk for him, I should say. If he doesn't do well for us, I can let him go, no problem, and I've got enough money to bring in someone if I need to. Alberto Tendillo, I like him because he plays both defensive center back and defensive right back really, really well. Physically solid, mentally, the 3 determination is a killer, and usually I want somebody in double digits in determination. That's one of the things I really look for. But the fact that he plays 2 positions, and more often than not, he'll be a bench player and come in at the end, or he will be starting games that aren't necessarily important to us in terms of the quality of competition we're playing. It's one of those things where he's 25 years old, his determination is not going to get any better. I'm just going to have to work around it. And there may be times where I have to put him on the field and hope that other players cover for him. Technically, ignore the down arrows. This is just the first part of the season. The next episode, I'll show you the spreadsheet and what's happened with the players from last year and how we got the new players in and everything like that. And so, it's not really a down arrow. A decent player. I'm not expecting great things out of him. He's just a guy, but he's a good guy. And 1,400 euros a week is not that bad. Next in Jordan, 25-year-old midfielder, 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. Another guy who is solid everywhere that it matters. The physicals, they're okay. The mentals are nice. I like the 14 determination, the 13 decision making. The off the ball and positioning could be a little bit better, but the vision and work rate kind of make up for that. Decent tackling, okay passing, good first touch. Solid deep line playmaker, good Mazzala. If I played a formation that required a Mazzala, because I don't think a 4-2-4 needs a Mazzala. I could be wrong there. If I am, let me know. But, 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability, solid guy across the board. 975 euros a week. Considering that we do have the salary for it now, not a risk by any stretch of the imagination. Alvaro Sanz. He is my prized pickup of this window. Normally a defensive midfielder, plays a really good midfielder as well. Parallel deep line playmaker midfielder. 19 years old, 4-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Picked him up on a free. He got released by Barcelona, which strikes me as odd because you would think they would have a good eye on what he can do. He wasn't the best at Barcelona. He only started 6 games, but as you can see, we've played 2 games this season. He's got player of the match in both. So maybe this level, I clicked the wrong thing. So maybe this level of football and maybe the division above is where he's going to thrive. 19 years old, solid physicals across the board, solid mentals across the board. Technically, he could be better in a couple areas. The crossing would be nice if it was a little bit higher. The finishing as well. But at the moment, the 12 technique, 11 tackling, 13 passing, 12 first touch. For a guy who's normally a defensive midfielder, who I am playing at midfielder, that's absolutely fabulous. And we got him on 1,500 euros a week. He'll get starting time. He will improve. This is going to be one of the players I'm interested in tracking this season to see how well he does. Israel Iglesias is an 18-year-old striker that I brought in to fill in on the youth squad. I loaned out a lot of players on the youth squad. 2-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. Physically, not too bad. Mentally, he could be better in some areas, especially concentration, positioning, and vision. Other than that, I do like the 15 determination. Technically, pretty good where it counts. 12 finishing, 13 first touch, 11 heading. The technique is not the best, but then again, he's a youth player. He'll spend 2 years on the under-19 squad. If he improves to the point where I can bring him up to the senior squad, I can. If not, I can let him go and pick up someone better. I actually, hold on. Well, we'll get to that here in a minute here. Pedro Luis Ramos, advanced midfielder, also plays striker. I do have that 4-2-3-1 and the 4-3-1-2 I play, and I needed a advanced midfielder because Wonka left. Physically, okay, except for the strength. Then again, he's 5'7" and 135 pounds. Mentally, not so hot, decision-making wise, positioning wise. Technically, could be better, but then again, he's 18 years old. Star and a half current ability, 5-star potential ability. If we're here in this division for a couple years, I suspect he will get first team playing time sooner or later. And then Arturo Salgado comes in as a midfielder and defensive midfielder and can also play defensive center back. That's one of the big reasons I brought him in, was because he plays defensive center back and he's also a good central midfielder. 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. Other than the jumping reach, physically, he's solid. Mentally, he's solid. I'm okay with those numbers. Even the 2 flare is fine. Technically, good where it counts. 14 first touch, 14 passing, 14 tackling, 9 technique, 2,000 euros a month. He and Alvaro Sanz are going to be my starters in the midfield. And then I've got a nice rotation with players already here on the squad, but then Jordan and players like Jorge Caron can come in as well. Alejandro Marcelo is still here. I'm not worried about my midfield. One of the things I didn't realize that we had before was like this screen here, trials. Like these were the players I brought in on trial. So an example, Ramon Arcas, defensive midfielder, 29 years old, was like 3-star current ability, 3-star potential ability. I liked him. I couldn't sign him because of the salary restrictions. You had a guy like Joel, defensive midfielder on the right, solid across the board, 21 years old. Couldn't bring him on because of the restrictions. I had one player. It wasn't Wojcik because I let him go. Is it Nacho? No, I would have kept him. There was a reason I let Nacho go. What was it? He wanted like freaking 1,500 euros a week. Yeah, Javi Perez, who I really wanted to bring on because he was going to be Javalilo's primary backup, was 4-star current, 4-star potential ability, and I couldn't because I'd already signed the players I needed to, and it's one of those cases where I didn't want to cancel a contract of a player I had just signed. So it was, it was a bit, well, it was a bit frustrating to get around. There's just no other ways about it. We did get Clemente back on loan. He's here as well. Gabriel Jesus, Semereda, Juan Jose Belmonte, and Marcelo Abalo, we all left to go out on loan. Christian Albert, we brought in from Levante. One of the things that happened was I let my advanced midfielder on the left go. Javier can play over there as an inside forward, but I wanted somebody who could come in and get some quality starting time there. Levante made Christian Albert available. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, inverted winger, inverted forward, can play all 3 midfield positions really, really well. That's one of the big reasons I went after him. I'm paying his salary, and I'm okay with that because we do have the salary to pay this time around. Okay, physically, really good mentally where it counts, I think. The 9 determination's a little bit still on the low side for me, but I'm not going to complain about it. Flair, off the ball, anticipation are nice. Technically, really good for this level of football already, and he's only going to get better. When a 5 marking and a 4 long throw are your lowest technical abilities as an advanced midfielder, you really don't have a lot to worry about. He did really good for Linares last year. He got 19 starts and had 4 goals for him. So he's capable. He was on loan at Linares last year. He did really well for them. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, I think one of those goals was against us. I'm expecting him to do just as well for us as he did there. I mean, the other thing is he's like Clemente in that he has no intentions of signing here full time, and I'm okay with that. So if we go to our depth chart, we're looking pretty good. We did re-sign Miguel Martin. Juanca's still here, but he's not really suited for this level of football, I think. He's older than Mizian at 25. He's not going to get any better, but for the moment, he's getting some of the, we've played 2 games, and for the moment, he's getting some of the starts there. Ballesteros has come in. Mizian will be the primary second striker. Jabalilo will play on the left with Albert, and when he's playing on the right, when Ballesteros isn't starting, when Ballesteros is the striker, Jabalilo will be on the right, and Albert will be on the left. When Ballesteros isn't starting, Jabalilo will be on the right, Albert will be on the left. Sands, Sagato, Carrion, Jordan are a good rotation in the middle field. I really like it. I think we made a lot of improvements in a lot of areas, especially for this area of football. The only area I am kind of concerned about is my defensive backfield. Barrera is my defensive left back. Marquez is my defensive right back. Tindillo is a good substitute on the right, but I have him starting in the center. I had another player who was coming in on loan, and he decided he didn't want to play for us, which was really annoying. And it happened on the very last day of the transfer window, and I haven't been able to bring anybody else in. Not that I could, because I just don't have the roster spots for it. So Romero's getting some starts. Sagato's come back down. Ignore that star and a half. He's better than the star and a half defensive center back. Push comes to shove, I will bring Sagato back and train him as a defensive center back if I have to. But for now, it's Clemente Tindillo with Romero coming in as well. Moja is my backup on the left. He can also play the right. That's my only concern this season. De La Calzada is still in goal for us. Cañas is still his backup. That's my other concern. But for the moment, this has changed. At the beginning of the season, we were expected to finish 10th. The board is expecting a mid-table finish, which means 10th or higher. After the transfer window, they got us up in 3rd. I had a good transfer window. I didn't think it was great. That's okay. Well, as long as we're healthy, I don't know. I'm aiming for mid-table. I'm aiming for mid-table this season. That's my goal. Preseason-wise, I forgot I had my assistant coach set to do the friendlies. I scheduled 4 friendlies spaced out at a decent time, and then a week later, I went to look at my schedule, and I literally had 5 more friendlies. And it was literally one of those where, like, I scheduled Malaga. I'm pointing at the screen here. You can't see it. I scheduled Sevilla Atletico in Guadalajara. I scheduled Guadalajara. I didn't. I scheduled Sevilla Atletico, Malaga, UD Melilla, Real Murcia, because they're spread out enough, and that I don't want to tire my guys out. And then I looked, and all these other ones, plus 2 more that I canceled, were scheduled by my coaches. So I had to go in and do that. Preseason-wise, we got through without an injury. That's what I was happy about. The annoying thing about a lot of these games is that we lost them late. Like this one here, they had a player sent off, and then they still scored 2 goals on us. This one here, 92nd minute equalizer to claw the drawback. This one here, 84th minute equalizer to claw the drawback. Malaga thumped us, but that's to be expected because they're a much better team than us, and they're one of our affiliates, actually. Ibiza, that was just a frustrating game, but we handily beat UD Melilla. We beat Hercules de Alicante. We absolutely thumped Real Murcia, and this was a fun game to watch. Adrian Wojciech was a striker I brought in. I let him go because of the forward determination and the positioning more than anything else. Yes, he's technically great, but other than that, he's solid across the board. It's just low determination just absolutely bugs me because it's one of those where, his commitment to succeed and do his very best on and off the pitch. You can have 20s everywhere else, but if you have a low determination, it's just going to kill you. You're not going to give a rip. And if you fall behind, you're not going to try your best. And there's going to be a lot of games this season and a lot of games going forward where we're playing better competition. And, I want players to dig down. I want players to do their best. That means something in the double digits, determination-wise. The higher, the better. I did schedule this one against Atletico Madrid, the B squad, and we gave them a fairly good game. Jorge Caron had a brace of goals for us. They got 2 goals in 6 minutes though to put them ahead. They were 3-0 up at one point. We came back. It was fun to watch. Jorge Caron, he's got some potential. It's fun watching him play. That's for sure. And it's easy to see why he's the starter on the Bolivian squad. So we got our season underway against UCA. Oh, what the heck is that? UCAM Murcia. I'm pretty sure there's a big group of words that stand for, that go in front of the UCAM, but UCAM Murcia. And we drew with them 1-1. Miguel Martin, a 63rd minute goal after their player Samu Machon scored in the 27th minute. This was a solid game. We did well. We didn't make any major mistakes. We didn't play outside of ourselves. I watched this on extended highlights just to see how the club would do, and we had our chances. I was really excited by the fact we did have 22 shots, 13 on target. And then I went back and I looked, and Murcia played really far back. They weren't pressing high. They sat at the back. They were playing this 4-2-3-1. That was their average starting position. This was ours because I play high. I tend to play high. I may have to take that down a notch considering the defensive weakness we have this year. But literally, they had 10 of their 11 players behind the center line. So we were able to come towards them, get our shots off, and their keeper did a really good job. He saved 13 shots. We couldn't break through. And that was the annoying thing. But we couldn't break through because their quality of player was just a little bit better than ours. I suspect had we been on even terms, we would have won this game. Maybe not handily, but we would have won it. And then we played CP good grief. CP Casareño. And we won 1-0 thanks to a Miguel Martin goal in the 28th minute. He had a really good season for us last season. I will be the first to admit that. He was the surprise of last season. If you told me he would have gotten 25 goals in 37, I would have said no way. Because he just doesn't look like that sort of player to me. He's solid across the board. There's nothing bad about him. I mean, especially when a 2 tackling is horrible, but he's a striker for crying out loud. Mentally solid, physically the jumping reach is okay, but he's 5'8". He's a poacher. He's not going to be, he's not a target man. He's not going to be jumping up in the air trying to get headers, although he did have a couple last season. Finishing is nice, first touch is nice, technique is nice, crossing and dribbling a little bit off, but he's solid. I didn't think he was going to get us 25 goals last season solid. I would have been happy with just 15. That said, I don't expect him to get 25 goals this season, as I'm clicking all over the place again. But this was another solid game for us. 10 shots, 6 on target. We had a huge possession advantage. Carqueño, oh, yeah, this is going to be a fun save. Caserño. Wow, I get the impression that if I had a Scotch or two in me, this would be a hell of a lot easier to pronounce. Also sat way at the back. They played a cautious 4-4-1-1, and again, once I realized what they were doing, I pressed up high. You know, if you're going to play way back and expect me to bring the ball to you, I'm going to play up. I'm going to play way up front and bring the ball to you. And if you hit me on the counter, then you hit me on the counter, and that's how we deal with that. If that's the case, I'll set my line a little bit further back. I still play attacking football because why not? And it's worked for me so far, you know. But as I am constantly fond of saying, Custer had a plan too. That could always change. So that said, we're not going to do any games today. I'm not going to show you the spreadsheet today. I just wanted to get this episode out of the way, show you the player changes we made, the moves we made. I really think we improved the squad. I don't think there's any way that the squad I had last year would have gotten out of the relegation zone this year. The players we kept are good, solid players. The players we brought in are good, solid players, with a couple having the potential to be great players. And if they're here in a couple of years when we go up, we'll be contributors there as well. A mid-table finish is all I'm looking for this season. I would like to get promotion playoffs next season and then win 2 seasons from now. So, I mean, that's my goals. That's the board's goals as well. And as long as we're in tune with that, I'm happy. Financially, we're doing better. I don't know that we'll be making a lot of moves in the January transfer window. I do have the payroll to add some players in on freeze. I do have the budget to bring players in on freeze. The problem, as I said, is the registration rules. I've got 20 players now. The problem is a couple of my youth players that I had to sign, like Alberto Sanz, he is not an EU player. He's a Spanish player, so I have to give him a spot. And then I've got a couple other youth players that I had to give spots because push comes to shove, I'm going to need them as backups. Defensive right back and Jose Manuel Robles, who is my backup keeper. Not the best backup keeper, but he's my backup keeper because I couldn't find anybody willing to come in for a decent price. I did have one goalkeeper who wanted to be the regular starter, and when I kept saying, no, you're going to be the backup, left in a huff. So the registration rules are going to be interesting to work around. It's just the way it's going to be. And you know, we'll work with it. So we've got a good squad. We've got a solid squad. Ability-wise, it's solid across the board. Potential-wise, there's a lot of players with some room to grow. Some of them have already reached that. And for this level of football, for what we're doing, that is absolutely fabulous. And I'm okay with that. So I'm going to bring the episode to a close here. If you did like what you've seen and heard, please leave a like. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave those down below. Leave your feedback down below as to whether or not you thought I've made some good moves this summer schedule and where you think we'll finish this season. My name is FM20. I thank you.